Hi guys, welcome back. Now we're actually going to talk about how to program our robot so that our robot can follow the instructions that we want it to. When you're programming your robot, you want to make sure that you're within task main. Task main is the section of code that the robot's going to read. And you have to make sure that whatever you're putting in here, whatever directions you're using, go inside the two curly braces. If you have any steps or code outside of the curly brace, the robot will not read it. So I'm going to go up to line 21. Whichever line you have in between the two curly braces is fine. Yours might be a little different than mine. And what you're going to do now is take a look at your pseudocode, because our pseudocode is going to outline exactly what we want our robot to do. So the first thing we know, okay, I want my robot to start the motor. That's step one. So I'm going to come over to the function library, and you're going to notice we're going to start dragging and dropping different bits of code. So we need to go to the natural language functions, and the natural language functions are going to give us basically just, it's easy drag and drop. If I want the motor to start, you can see if I go to movement, it says start motor or stop motor. Okay, and I have a bunch of other things in here under robot motion. If I wanted to go forward or track a line, move straight for a certain amount of time, I can do all of that. But for today's purpose, this is pretty simple. We just want to go to movement, start motor. I'm going to click it, hold down my cursor, and drag it over to my task main. So I have start motor. All right, now you'll notice that there it says motor port and speed. These are two portions that you're going to fill out the values for. So the motor port, I actually want to run my left motor, so I'm just going to delete motor port and start typing L, E, F, and hey, what do you know? Left motor has already been configured into my RobotC because I configured my test bed. So I'm going to come down and select left motor, and it will show up. Now the only other portion that I need to do is figure out the speed at which the motor runs. Well, I know that I have a motor that needs to run at half speed. Okay. Now, as you notice, if you look at my pseudocode, I've got that written here for 5 seconds at half speed. You could write this pseudocode a couple of different ways. Maybe I want to say start motor at half speed, run for 5 seconds, and motor stops. That probably would have made more sense than the way I originally wrote it. But either way is fine. I'm still on track. I still know what I want my robot to do. So when we talk about motors, motors have a value from 0, which would be off, no movement at all, to 127, which would be full power. Okay? We want our motor to run at half speed. So I have to take that full value of 127 and divide it by 2, which is going to give me approximately 63. That's going to be half speed. It's a little over 63, but we don't want to use any decimals when we're programming in RobotC. So I've got my motor, my left motor specifically, running at 63, which would be half power, because remember that value is from 0, which would be off, no motion, to 127 for the motor, which would be full on, full power motion. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is, well, I want my robot to run for 5 seconds. Okay, so what I need to do now is come over to the natural language library, come all the way down to wait, and drop that down. And I'm going to select wait, drag it over to line 22, and drop it. My wait time is going to be 5 seconds. Okay, it's already in seconds, so I can just say wait 5. And then lastly, I want my motor to stop, so I'm going to come over here, grab stop motor, drag it over, and I want the left motor to stop. Enter. Okay. So in our next video, we're going to go ahead and make some comments on the side of this, just to make sure that everything's lined up and we can account for any mistakes we may have. So I'll see you in our next and last video for the day in just a few seconds.